Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing the pyramid wrap up, but this is the mega pyramid of 24 books. I did not read 24 books in 1 month. Since I didn't do my May wrap up, I'm going to do my May and June wrap up together. Here are the stats. In May, I read 15 books, 6 romances, 5 fantasy, and 4 literary fiction. And then in June, I read 9 books so far, 4 romances, 1 classic, 1 fantasy, 1 sci-fi, and 2 literary fiction. Since this is a big pyramid, we're just gonna get into it. My drink of the video is a cranberry ginger ale. I love these. I hope that was satisfying. Here we go, wrap up time. The first and worst book that I read this month was Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. I hate this book. This is in my brother and his girlfriend choose my reads for the week. Cameron picked this out. I actually hated this book so much. I gave it 0.25 stars. I would give it a 0, but I just did not like Prudence. In the back, it says she's judgmental. She's judgmental, like to the max. Like she was just like judging everybody. She really only cared about her. And even though like this is a romance, like a young adult romance, the romance happened at like 80% of the book and I was just like, that's it. And I just cannot believe our main guy character, Quint, liked her at all because she was literally so rude to him this entire time. This is basically following her during the summer, trying to get extra credit for this project that she bombed with Quint, her lab partner in marine biology. She is like a 16-year-old girl, but like she was giving business advice to like all the adults in her life. And she's like, you should really do this, acting like she knows everything. I just really didn't like this book. I'm being brief with these wrap up this time. The next book is A Magic Steeped in Poison. This is also a book that Cameron picked out for me. I think I gave this one 1 star. I think the author tried to do too much. Basically, our magic system is with these people that can like do magic with tea. And so I thought that concept was really cool. It just really fell flat for me because I feel like the author was just trying to do so much in such a short amount of pages that everything, like we were just going through things so quickly. You didn't have time to like absorb the information. Oh my God, this is what the competition is. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is why. Like it just kept going on and on and on. And then it talks about the politics of the world. And you're just like, I don't care. Also, there was like a bit of incest in here, but like, whatever. I just really didn't like it, so gave it 1 star. The cover is just beautiful. I don't know if the rest of the series is better, but I just really didn't like how everything was just so fast paced that you couldn't connect with any of the characters. I literally don't even remember the character's first name, and I didn't connect with her at all. And her whole like journey, she was trying to get like an apprenticeship in the like art of tea making and stuff like that for like her family, but she really rarely thought about her family in her monologue once she got to the competition area. The next book on the pyramid is Between Ink and Shadow by Melissa Wright. I gave this also 1 star. I read this as an audiobook. I feel like the fantasy aspect of this, I just was like, it was going in ear, out the other. I just think I cannot grasp knowledge through audiobook. So I think that's like to its detriment. I think the narration was good. There was like a kind of like a romance thing in here and I was just like, okay, whatever. I really have nothing to tell about this book. Don't remember it. Don't want to remember it. Yeah. Next book is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I read this in my slump. So this is like June-ish. This book, 700 pages. It could have been 450 pages max. I gave this 1 star. The author just kept on referring to everybody as male and female. And I was just like, why are we saying this? Like there was like a population of native people and she just like depicted them really badly and I just didn't like it. 1 star again. There was this fun plot twist at like 50%, but that was basically it. The dragons in here weren't that cool. The main girl character, she's like attached to the main guy character, duh, because it's like a fantasy romance. But like the attachment just came out of nowhere and I was just like, okay, a little cringe writing sometimes. Also, I just need to reiterate the fact that this was 700 plus pages and nothing really happened. Nothing was happening, so I was just like, this is it. Also, there was like some other like point of views that you just really don't care about because the author doesn't make you care about the characters that you're in the POV, and it's just more stuff to learn about our main girl, and that was it. That was like, okay, that's all. Next is King of Sloth by Anna Huang. Oh, I gave this 1.25 stars. We're going up the stars. I don't know what I thought about it. Let me see. This is what I put. I said, I just don't think Anna Huang's writing is for me most of the time. The outlandish plots mixing with mediocre characters doing crazy things just never really hit. There's always an underlying parental issue for the characters and it feels like it's just thrown in for them to have like an emotional depth to it. This book is entirely too long. 466 pages for really nothing in my opinion. I wanted to DNF this multiple times, but I pushed through because I was in a slump and I just wanted to finish a book. And I didn't love or hate any of the characters, which are Xavier and Salone. This plot basically is them like trialing dating. It's not even fake dating. They're just seeing if they can date. That's it. And so Salome is like Xavier's like, she's like the one that handles his PR, and Xavier's just from a wealthy family, and so he needs to get his image together. They don't even date for his image, they just date. They're just like, yeah, in 1 month we'll just trial this, but like that's it. He really liked her. He had to like find his footing in life because he was just very lost. She was like, her plot was just with her family. 1.25 stars. Next, The Right Move by Liz Tomforte. I gave this a 2.5 stars. We're out of 1-star territory. Okay, this is the beginning of when I don't think I really like dual POV first person books. So if we're in the guy's POV, it's always the ickiest things that the author is making the guy say. And so like I know it's a woman behind these words. And so that's what makes it grosser to me. It's just like, really, we're writing this? But like it was nothing outlandish. It was just like boy like vulgarness, and I was just like, I don't want to care about this. Ryan Shea. He's a NBA person in Chicago, and then his sister's friend who's a flight attendant. She's like a flight attendant, but she's only a flight attendant to the hockey team. I didn't read the first book, so maybe that's why I'm like not understanding what the job is. But she was like, yeah, I fly with the hockey team. But then it's like, oh, I also have to catch a flight because I'm a flight attendant. Which are you? I don't know why you're on the plane so much with the hockey team. I just never really understood that. She needs somewhere place to stay because she broke up with a long-term boyfriend. Her best friend, which is Ryan's sister, she was like, yeah, you can stay with my brother. And so he has like a lot of baggage with him. And so he's like kind of grumpy towards her, and she's like sunshine incarnate, and he falls for her. Duh. One thing I think, there was like a love bombing situation in here, and like towards the very end for like the third act conflict, and I was just like, whoa guys, like calm down please. Towards the writing, I noticed that there's a lot of info dumping in like the characterizations of like other characters. Like for the next standalone book, I think it's like the baseball guy, don't remember, Kai, his name's Kai. He just kept on talking like, Kai, he's the Major League Baseball, he's very good at baseball, and he's a son, but he's a single parent. They just kept on saying that same line every time Kai was mentioned. I was like, okay, I get it. He's the next guy in the book, I don't care. It's like the love bombing situation at the end of Ryan and Indy's relationship that I was like, okay, whatever. But I'm happy for them, and I think they stick together, so I don't think they're getting a divorce anytime soon. I liked the book. It was a little long, but it's whatever. I read that like in a day, so I was so back after that reading slump. Next is Heart Still Beating by Brooke Archer. This is a apocalypse book, and basically the zombie like population infected by this disease called the tick, and it just makes them zombies. But there's also like half infected people that are like, they were ticks, and then they like kind of got this medicine to help them not become ticks. I gave this one 2.75 stars. I think the conflict in here was just entirely so YA. It was like the person in charge of us, our place, is doing bad stuff, so we gotta overrun him. And it was just basically that. Like, it was just that. And I was like, okay. I thought the romance, this is the sapphic love story. I thought the romance was cute, but it was also like out of nowhere, because like it wasn't out of nowhere, like in the fact that like they knew each other for a long time and they like had these developing feelings. But like Rory, who was the human one, she was like very protective of her family, and she was like, no, Mara, I don't want you to come here. I don't like you. I hate you, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I don't know why I said that. Like, I feel so bad. But it was just like that. And I was like, okay. Apocalypse was all right. It was fine. If you want to read it, I would recommend if you like that type of stuff. But three stars is my, like, oh, I recommend this book. I liked it. Mara is the one that's infected. And so she was in like a rehabilitation program. And so they were rehabilitating some like half infected, half cured people. And so they were like, oh yeah, you can go home to your families. Mara's family's dead. So they gave her with her godparents, which are Rory's parents. Next on the pyramid, we have Wherever You Are by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the second book out of the Bad Reputation duet. This follows Willow and Garrison. It's their second book. It's basically wrapping everything up together. I think I gave this 2.75 stars as well. I gave the first one in this duet 3 stars. This one was just like a little flat for me because I feel like there was just no conflict in this one. The other one, you kind of had like both of them being insecure in their relationship, but this is a very healthy relationship now, and it really is just like them from college up to like now all the time. So it was fun. It was cute. I recommend you read it if you really like the Addicted series. So next is A Man Called Ove. Actually, I think it's not pronounced that. I think it's pronounced. Someone left a comment on my video. Uwe. Yeah, A Man Called Uwe. That's the Swedish pronunciation. I hope I'm saying it right. It was a comment. I was actually delusional reading this book, and so I just don't think I like grabbed anything else. I gave this one 3 stars because I just love Fredrik Backman's writing. He made me feel emotion, and it's basically about a grumpy old man called Uwe. I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil anything because I was like, I think I just didn't read the back, so I just like was like kind of caught off guard by this one fact. But if you you want to read the back, you can read the back of the book. It's basically him learning to live again, basically, after something happened to him. And so he has these neighbors move in next door, like close by, and then so they like wiggle into his heart. A bunch of other people wiggle into his heart, and it's basically him and his story. It's really cute. It made me cry at the end, but yeah, 3 stars. I'd recommend it. It was heartfelt. Next is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is the 3rd and final book that Cameron and Phil got for me in that one video. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I gave this one 3.25 stars. I liked Chloe. I didn't really like the guy character in here. It was back to him being in a guy's POV. He was just like very lusty, and I was just like, I don't want this right now. Chloe Brown, she had something happen, like a near-death experience. She was like, okay, I need to get a life. Like, I feel bored. I don't feel satisfied with my life. So she moves out, and then at this apartment, the like property manager, he's called the superintendent in here. His name's Redford. And so they don't really get along, but they weren't actually enemies, but they thought they were enemies, but it was never really enemies. You know what I mean? He helps her get her life because she wants to, she has this list that she wants to happen. 3.25 stars. I will read all the other Talia Hibbert books. I will read the other Talia Hibbert books. Did I say it? Talia Hibbert books. Next. Clyde Nestra, I think that's what it is, by Constanza Costi. This is a feminist retelling of Clyde Nestra. She's Helen of Troy's sister, and it's just like her growing up in Sparta and then her life after that, and she's looking for revenge to her now husband Agamemnon. Okay, girl, I don't know how to pronounce Greek names. Okay, I'm sorry. It's basically talking about her timeline. I liked the pacing of the story and just her trying to get revenge on these like people in her life. I heard some really bad like mixed reviews about this because of like one scene in particular. I don't fault her. I don't know. You have to read it to like form your opinion on it. But I know a lot of people don't really like it because of a certain scene. And it's just like sometimes feminist retellings are just like pushing out something. I kind of put it up better in this review. So yes, Clyde Nestra has faults and it was so involved with her idea of vengeance, but that doesn't make her horrible. And I liked that about the book. You felt the rage that Clyde Nestra felt, but then you also understood her when she had her reasonings and stuff like that. So I think that was like pretty fine. She's not like the greatest person, but like she had the cards she was dealt with, and so you feel for her at that point. And I think that's why I kind of like feminist retellings of Greek things, because I'm not gonna read the actual Greek myth by Homer and like all those other people. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna read retellings. So Clyde Nestra did what she had to do. 3.75 stars. Next. This Summer Would Be Different by Carly Fortune. This is about Lucy and Felix. Felix is Lucy's best friend's brother. They kind of have a hookup thing, and then she's like, oh, we can't tell your sister. I think this is Carly Fortune's best book. I didn't really like her other two that much. I liked following along like Lucy and Felix up until the 3rd act conflict. Felix was made to be such a nice guy, and he like really cared about Lucy, and I was just like, okay, I could really feel the chemistry. And then the 3rd act conflict happened, and I was just like, Felix, what are you doing? You're literally doing nothing. And so like that was kind of like where it fell off for me in the book, but 3.5 stars, fine. I would recommend it. You can read it. It wasn't like, oh, I feel the butterfly romance. You know what I mean? I liked the setting. This was in the Prince Edward Islands, and it really talks about Anne of Green Gables. It was like a nice escape because Bridget, she's from the Prince Edward Islands, but she's like getting married, and so she wants to have like this last hurrah with Lucy only before her wedding. And so that's kind of like the conflict. They're like, Lucy's like, why are we here? We have to get back to our lives. And then Bridget's like, I want to stay here, blah, 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 blah. And so that's like the main conflict and like thing. We're like, oh, why are we here right now? Fun book. Next. We have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is Ashley Poston's new release. I'm going with 3.5 stars. I didn't like it as much as I liked the 7-Year Slip. I loved like the magical realism that she has in her books. I feel like this is her best concept. So basically our main character, I think it's Eileen. Her nickname's Elsie, so I'm gonna call her Elsie. But she is a romance reader. She's a romance reader. She really loves this one series. And so she kind of like gets stuck in like the fictional town of this one series that she loves so much. And there she meets this guy called Anders. He's not a fictional character in the book series because the author that made the series died before the 5th book could happen, and so everyone's like, oh, this series is like done. And I think I would literally have a panic attack if like Jessa Hastings like didn't finish the 3rd Magnolia Parks book and we just didn't know it was gonna happen. But I think the book has such good quotes about readers really enjoying stories, holding them to like such a different level. And it's basically talking about like, I read the afternote, these authors are writing these books but you're making them stories and making them like feel real and stuff like that. And I was just like, wow, it's so beautiful. The romance part of the book, it like at the 50% mark, it was just like, oh yeah, there's romance in here, you know what I mean? It's not just about Elsie's like finding herself in this after she's been like in a rough spot in her life. At the 50% mark, it was like, oh yeah, Andrews is a pretty good guy, because at first Elsie and Andrews do not get along. Andrews is like, you need to leave this town right now, because these people in this fictional town, they don't know they're from books, and so they don't know that you know everything about them. Because it was like such a like an instant flip, it was just like, do you really like each other? But like, I thought Andrews was a fine guy. He owns a bookstore in the town. He has a cat named Butterscotch. I think like the author made it so like Elsie was like, he's such a like book boyfriend material, and I was just like, yeah, but like, I don't know, the flip happened and I was just like, okay, whatever. I liked her interacting with the other townspeople. It was like kind of like Stars Hollow-esque. I just don't think I liked it enough to give it a 4 stars, because of that 50%. Like it felt really slow in the beginning, and in the middle like really picked up and I really started enjoying it, and then the end was just like, okay, that happened. And I feel like I was a little disappointed in the end, but like I also could see where it was coming from, especially like from the character POVs. So yeah, I also wish that, I don't know, I kind of harked on like how I didn't really like dual POV first person, but I wish we would have seen more of Anders and what he's thinking, because something happened to him and I don't know, there was like this angsty bit and I was just like, I don't know how it would feel if that was happening to me, but like whatever. So 3.5 stars. Next is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. It's my classic of the month. I read this through audiobook, but also like looking at the screen. So it was like listening to other people tell me the story, but also reading the story. I think it was fine. It was a very like, it's not a love story, but like there are some like love aspects of it to it. So like a lot of people talk about Heathcliff and Catherine and like Edgar and that like whole like love triangle-ish type of thing. Reading it for like just like, oh my god, like this is crazy. I liked the storyline more than I like enjoyed the writing. I think the writing, there was a lot of run-on sentences for like a classic, which I was like, maybe that's what classics are, but like I could see the run-on sentences. I really enjoyed the way the information was spewed out, because we're in Mr. Lockwood's point of view, and then another character, Mrs. Dean, she's recounting everything, the lives of like Heathcliff, Catherine, and like Edgar through like them being in Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. It's basically a story about like revenge and love. There was also classic incest that's in a lot of classic books, so there was that, and I was just like, okay. It's like also multi-generational. It was fun. It was a wild ride. It was a little boring in some spots, and so that's why I really enjoyed like having the narration of it. So there's that. I recommend, if you have like the Kindle Unlimited subscription, read a lot of the classics on there, because then you could also get them on audiobook as well. 3.75 stars. Next I have These Violet Delights by, I literally said I was gonna find his name and learn how to pronounce it. Forgot. Micah Nemirme. These Violet Delights. I counted this as literary fiction. This is a dark book. This is a mega dark kind of like character study of obsessional love between two different characters. There was like a little bit of dark academia. People like sometimes like, oh, this is a dark academia book. I would say this is like mostly a character study of Paul and Julian, and we're set in the 70s. It's just this deep obsessional love that each person has for each other and how they hold on to that love. The book was written very beautifully, but it's also very disturbing and dark. So please go into it on the right mindset. I enjoyed the writing. I felt really icky reading it because of what was happening. It's more dark than the Secret History, and there's less like dark academia parts of it. It's like less focused on academia and more focused on their obsessional love with each other and what they do to like keep it. So it's very dark. Paul and Julian are not role models. There's that. 3.75 stars. You have to go into it in the right mindset and the right like timing. And if you want to read about a dark, really dark love story, it's not like dark romance dark. It's like mentally dark. Next is People Will Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I did my reread. 3.75 stars. I don't know what I gave it the first time. Reading it after really enjoying Emily Henry's writing and really like appreciating it, I didn't really care for Poppy again. I empathize with her a lot. I think she's like very relatable in that aspect. This type of friends to lovers, I was just like it's very like slow burn in that aspect, and they just haven't talked to each other a lot. And so like that friendship aspect, like losing friendship, is something I'm so scared of. So like reading it happen to both these two people that are so close to each other was really hard. I really liked Alex. I really dunked on Alex when I first read the book, and I was like, I cannot believe Alex did that. They left each other at a pivotal moment in time, and they came back and they really like learned how to coexist with each other after that time apart. So I really liked that. I just really like Emily Henry's writing. This is like talking about like them now, and then also like their summer vacations with each other. So they have like summer vacations with each other, and Poppy's a travel blogger. That like job kind of like puts a rift in their like vacation plan. Yeah, they come back for this reminiscent vacation. 3.75 stars. It's probably still my least favorite Emily Henry books. We follow Raphael, who is Julian's cousin. Raphael, he has a son, like an 8-year-old son. He's divorced, blah, blah, blah. And so he has a nanny for his son because his son has an eye condition. So he's like losing his vision, like mixing up stuff. I don't know what the exact condition is. His son loves the nanny. There's like some animosity between the nanny and Raphael. Also, Raphael and Nico, his son, are like they're in a rough spot right now. So Love Unwritten, Raphael and Ellie's book, I gave it a 3.75 and it's set as a 3 on Goodreads. It was between a 3.75 and a 3.5. It could still lead a 3.5 until like the end of the month when I do my wrap up, but right now it's a 3.75. I really liked Raphael. Even though he's like pretty closed off due to like his childhood, he's not like really spoken out for his like feelings and stuff like that, and that can lead to a lot of miscommunication. But I feel like he deserved to be able to like hold back his feelings a little bit and just like calm down for a second before he just rationalizes out and like hurts other people in that aspect of just like speaking out without internalizing feelings. I feel like Ellie was just not my favorite main character. I liked her relationship with Raphael, and I liked her relationship with Nico the kid, and I liked her relationship with like all these other people. I just think she recognized that like Raphael has trauma and stuff like that, but like she would just like, oh my god, I can't believe he's not communicating with me. Like, oh, I hate him. Like, he betrayed my trust. When he's learning to trust, and I feel like he gave too much to Ellie when she was just not, like, she was good, but like she wasn't like recognizing that it's hard for him to do that much. And so that's why I was like, Ellie, girl, calm down. So I feel like Ellie got on my nerves a lot, but I really liked Raphael. So 3.75. Next, we have The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. I enjoyed the story. I think this story is like a sci-fi story, and it's basically if like we mastered time travel. So the ministry is where our main character works. She's unnamed. She's assigned to be a bridge to a man from 1847, Commander Graham Gore. He's taken from like a near-death experience, and so he's brought into the modern world, and these bridges are supposed to like show them the ropes of modern world. I said that this felt like Steve Rogers fanfic of like if someone was there to like teach him the modern ways. When he came to the modern world in the first Avenger, there's also like a Severance vibe to it, like the workplace is holding secrets that you don't know. This is written in a way that's very British, and because the author is Cambodian and British, our main character, she's also Asian, and so she's like tackling being white but being also Asian in this like in modern time, and she's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what people expect of me. And so I really enjoyed that part of the book. People be coming into modern world. It was very fun to read about, but there was also like some things that they had to like learn because of their time periods and stuff like that. So I feel like that wasn't handled the best in this book, but like whatever. I gave this one 4 stars. I would read it if you want to read about like a time travel like type of thing. I think it was really cool. I think the ending was cool. Yeah, that's all I have to say. It was cool. I liked the writing a lot. It felt like R. Kwong's Babel. There's also a hint of romance in here, so if you want to read that, read that. Next is Talking at Night by Claire Davery. This feels like One Day and Normal People vibes. It follows these 2 characters since they were teenagers up until like adulthood. There's like some things that like pull them apart, and there's some things that put them together. It was very nice to read about a literary fiction book about 2 people in love. So it's not like, I wouldn't say it's a romance. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really beautifully written. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. These characters are less faulted than Marianne and Connell in Normal People. So if you really enjoyed that like vibe of Marianne and Connell, and like they're kind of like situationship, but like kind of like being together, not being together, I don't think it's fair to, I keep on saying Normal People, but I don't think it's fair to compare this to Normal People too much. I really enjoyed it nonetheless. I love the story between Rosie and Will, and I liked both of them separately when we were in their character head. I really enjoyed the book. I think it was a great book. I loved it. Hence why I bought a physical copy, because I read this on my Kindle. Next we have Starless Seed by Erin Morgenstern. Starless Seed by Erin Morgenstern. It's very beautiful. I love like the book literary aspect of the book. I think it's very like mysterious. And so it's basically following Zachary. He finds this book that has a story of his life, and he's like, okay, I need to figure this out. So he follows these clues, and then the clues just get wider and bigger. Like it's just like a very expansive world to get into, the Starless Sea. And so it's very beautiful in that aspect. I don't know, it makes you really think, and I like the lyrical aspect of this. So I just really like Erin Morgenstern's writing. I think she really puts you in the world, and you're really immersed into it. I gave this one 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't know which one I like more than the Night Circus or the Starless Sea. I liked both of them a lot. The mystery aspect was like super like intriguing. You really wanted to keep reading. And then once we like kind of figured it out, like we also didn't figure it out at the same time. So it like kept you wanting to read. And so you never really get answers, but there's also like a love story in here that was really nice as well. I really liked it. I liked the characters. I liked the book. I liked the writing. I liked the atmosphere. Next. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I loved this book as well. This is kind of like a gothic, it's a gothic like fantasy story, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, I think it's under horror, but it's like gothic horror. Basically, it's like a conspiracy about the Hollow sisters. So these three Hollow sisters went missing. Their families don't know where they are. A month later, they come back. They're like naked. They come back, but like they're like not the same. And so it's like basically that like conspiracy of like where'd they go, who took them, why are they back. Fast forward years later, older sister, who's a like famous model, she goes missing again. And then Iris, who we're following, which is the youngest, and then the middle child, Vivi, they're like, we need to find Greg. I really enjoyed the atmosphere that gothic horrors and like fantasies have. This is also YA, so it's not like too grotesque, but it is grotesque for YA, I would say. And yeah, there's also like sapphic love in here. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. 4.25 stars. Next. Almost at the end. Lovely War by Julie Berry. I love this book. I gave this 4.5 stars. I read this because of Ashlyn Cayley and Destiny Sidwell. Okay, this is a historical fiction. It's so beautifully researched, and you can see that in the bibliography and like in the author's note. It's so good because we have a black character and we're set in World War I. And so it's like that aspect, and I feel like the author really did her time and like research into the book to make it as authentic but also make it not offensive as possible. But I really enjoyed it. Basically, we follow Aphrodite, and she's like a kind of our narrator throughout the book, and also like a bunch of other Greek gods. And so Aphrodite's the goddess of love, and she's talking about how she loves mortals and like why she loves her job so much of like bringing people together in love and stuff like that. And so she recounts the story of 4 separate characters, James and Hazel, and then Colette and Audrey. Both their love stories were so amazing. I think the writing in here and the Greek god aspect was just so like gripping because each heading is like a different Greek god like narrating the story. And so because of the Greek gods and like what they do, you kind of know what's happening in those like chapters that are coming up. Yeah, it's just like it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I really need to get my hands on a physical copy of it. James and Hazel's love story, so cute. It literally had me kicking my feet. They were so cute, and like the way they met, their like love for each other, their like hardships that they went through. And same with Audrey and Colette. I feel like they were less of a focus than James and Hazel. When they did have like book time, I was like, yeah, I love them so much. The ending of it, I just really liked. But a 4.5. It didn't give me a 5-star feeling, but like I really enjoyed the book nonetheless. Read that book. I love that book. Next, I have a book that I am just not reading, and that is Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. Tiffany McDaniel is the author, and Betty's inspired by her mother, Betty, and it's basically Betty's life as a Cherokee daughter, but her mother's white, so it's like that aspect of the book, and she's the 6th child out of 8 for this family, and it's basically following that family dynamic and the secrets of this family. It's written so well, and I literally got teary-eyed so many times. There were tears about to fall in my eyes, and I was like, please get back in, please. I would like fan my face. I really liked Betty. It was just so deeply inspired by the author's mother that I just cannot rate this book. It feels like a memoir, but even though it's like categorized as a coming of age like fiction book, it is deeply rooted in the hardships of this family and her mother specifically. So I just could not in good faith rate this book. I really do recommend everyone read this book. It has a lot of notes of like racism towards Betty and like her family and stuff like that, sexual assault, rape, all that type of things. I think it's very important to read. I just really recommend this book. I really loved it. I just cannot rate this book because it is so like deeply personal that I just cannot touch that, but I really enjoyed it. I recommend you guys read it. Okay. What's at the top of the pyramid? The best book I read in 2 months? What do you say? How to End a Love Story, Yulin Kwang. A lot of people don't like this book. Someone that I follow was like, yeah, I read this book, didn't really like it. I was like, damn, you're an immigrant daughter too. Why don't you like this book? I love this book. Annotated it. I'm not crazy. You felt it too, right? It's a feeling in my gut. Like I've been waiting for this for you. I love this book. I love the screenplay aspect of the book. I love Helen and like her family dynamic with her family. I loved her as a character. I loved Grant Shepard. I think he was like top tier book boyfriend ever. Basically, the story is Helen. She's a YA author. Her books get picked up to become a TV series. And so she's in the writer's room for the TV series. This is a kind of like inspired by her sister who died. And so Grant is a screenwriter in like the room and stuff like that. And he also was involved in the accident that killed Helen's sister. And so it's like that that animosity between them, but they really professional and they grow out of that like hatred towards each other, and it's very beautiful to read. I just really love the story. I really related to Helen and her family dynamic. I just love the book. I don't recommend everybody read it because it does deal heavily with grief and that aspect, and I feel like, I don't know, a lot of people didn't like it. I really enjoy it because I relate so heavily to Helen. And so I feel like that's why I really love this book, and I loved Grant. I just really liked it. I think the romance was super cute. I loved their dynamic with each other and the situationship dynamic they had, because her family was never gonna accept Grant. And so he kind of knew that, but he really liked Helen's company, really liked Helen. And I loved that like aspect of like them knowing it's gonna end, but like also exploring it as well. So there's that. I love this book. 5 stars. Wow, 5 stars, 5 stars. There's the pyramid. Oh, there's the pyramid. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you made it through these 24 books. I hope I edited this down short enough. Great reading month in May. Kind of fell off in June, and we can only go up from here. July, we gonna do better? I'm out of the slump. There's the wrap up. Those are the books I read in May and June. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I love reading them. Comment anything you want to talk about. Any of the books that you read from my wall. Any books that you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!